Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. What you want to talk about? Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, Lisa, Lopre, JT, and friends. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. What you want to talk about? Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, Lisa, Lopre, JT, and friends.
Lisa, Lopre, JT, and friends. Y'all ready to cook up some conversation?
Kitchen talk.
All right, one more again. See if we can give JT another few seconds to get on in here.
Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. What you want to talk about? Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, Lisa, Lopre, JT, and friends. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. What you want to talk about? Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, Lisa, Lopre, JT, and friends.
Lisa, Lopre, JT, and friends. Y'all ready to cook up some conversation?
Kitchen talk.
Talk about.
Let's talk. Hey, people.
JT, what's up?
What's happening with you?
Lisa,
Lorraine.
Hi, guys.
For some reason, every time we start, I hear the song before we start. Is that weird?
That's
well, that
supposed to
means
happen.
that it's catchy.
Mhm.
Yes.
It's catchy. I love it. I love it.
Week.
Say again, France.
I said, I hope you guys been having a great week.
It's
been pretty good. It's been all right.
Yeah, mine's been okay. Busy. Mine's been busy. We had vacation Bible school this week, so I was the engineer. Shout out to Jamal Coleman. Thank you so much.
All right, Jamal, that's what's up, Blair.
So it's been an interesting and long week, but this was something new for everybody to do vacation Bible school via all this technology and Zoom and this and that. So it was challenging to our seasoned saints, but they pulled it off and they hung in there. And the kids, I wonder, I don't think I could teach like elementary school because watching them babies fidget. I mean, they're having fun, but they cannot sit still. They cannot sit still.
I love them.
I do too.
You have to put some structure in place.
Definitely.
Use the energy to your advantage. Like, okay, we're gonna move. Well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna move with a purpose. So then you got them.
Yeah, but just imagine you're on a screen. They're on a screen. It's not like they're in the classroom. In the classroom, I think it might be a little bit different and you can harness and use that energy. But with them on the screen and you on the screen, it was just so obvious that the words that we were saying, some of them you could tell they were paying attention. Some of them was like, okay, come on, one little boy, he had Play-Doh or something, and he just tossing it. I was like, oh my God.
Well, I teach a group of kids how to play chess online. So just imagine that. elementary, 3rd grade and up.
Oh, wow.
They are very much active. We have a great time. I've literally enjoyed the summer. They've added value to my summer for sure.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. So listen, guys, I was reading a couple of articles this week. One of them talked about enough, like I think it was like 8 children across the country that were killed due to gun violence. Caught in a pretty much in crossfire, so to speak. Ricky Smiley's daughter was shot. She lived, she had surgery. But all of this happened over the weekend. And then another article I read talked about how gun sales have skyrocketed. Like 2 million people and this, and it was saying that the last spike was actually when Obama got reelected. Was the last time they seen a spike like this. So
hey, McFly, hey, listen, if that happened when Obama got reelected, guess who bought those guns? Do you realize who bought those guns? Guess who was stocking up on them guns? Getting ready for that race war. Uh-oh, my bad. Oh, did I say that?
You did.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but not sorry.
Well, I think for this one, it's a little bit different. I think it's more or less people are trying to protect themselves, especially with the the fight against the police and knowing that, with this new way that people want to see policing, how would it affect me staying at home and waiting for somebody to come and protect me? I think the first line of defense should be you. And then you have the police. So you got a lot of people who want to make sure their families, their homes, themselves, that they're safe. So you already saw the writing on the wall. People were going to start arming themselves. There's literally a national push for more and more people, black, white, or whatever, to, become gun holders and essentially protect themselves and their families.
Mm-hmm.
So
Lisa, you looking over there like, I don't want a gun.
I don't want one. Like I mean, it seems like we're going back to the age of the duel. So you just gonna challenge somebody in the street and y'all just draw your guns? It's like to me it feels like we're going backwards rather than forward.
12 noon, high noon. We're gonna meet in the middle of Tennessee Street.
Hey, shout out to Game Street, man. Black Lives.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
What's up with that?
Yeah.
Shout out to all who made that happen. From DC to Tallahassee.
Okay,
I
so
appreciate
guys,
them for doing that. So, but how about they put that on Thomasville Road?
Okay, so hold on. First, I want to say we can't overtalk each other because y'all talking at the same time. I can't hear what y'all saying. But JT, why was that not my thought too?
What? Oh yeah, what I just said? Yeah. How about we put it somewhere where they can? Oh, my bad. I wasn't supposed to say them or they. Yeah. How about we put it on Thomasville Road though? I'm just saying.
Okay,
I loved it. I saw it. I thought it was beautiful, but Tennessee Street intersection, further down Monroe
Street,
Thomasville Road.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was actually an interesting intersection to put it at because that is an intersection where the city actually converge on each other between the two universities. I think that's a real conversion, and not just that. That's where the city meets the where we really get into the city proper. Let's put it that way,
Man.
the downtown area. I agree. I mean, it could be anywhere, but hey, it's somewhere.
Friend's so sweet. You're so sweet. You're so sweet. I love it. Oh, my friend is here, y'all. Let me put her in the mix.
Friends,
All
my
right.
spam. Come on, man.
Listen,
You got to find
hey.
us money. Come on.
Jen!
Oh God.
Is she frozen?
Throw her out.
There she is.
Hey, what wig you got on today?
Get him, Jen.
Oh God.
Yeah, let's pull that one over right there.
Your Jennifer, your mic is muted.
Wah 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 wah.
She don't know how to work it. At the bottom, there's a mute button. Click the mute button.
Yeah, that one says Mike.
She's trying to work it.
Jamal, can you do it for her? Oh, she went out.
Oh man.
Okay. So
Well, hopefully she could shoot better than she could
friend. Well, she took the class. I don't know.
That's cool, friend.
We'll find out. We'll find out in a minute when she come back.
So that's what I was actually getting to in terms of you want to. I don't think we're going to go back to the high noon situation. I do think that there's a sense of, I'm protected so that if something happens, then I know that I'm safe. But with having a gun comes responsibility. And with all these things that we have, with our liberties, with our freedom comes responsibility.
I agree.
And if you violate those responsibilities, then you should be prosecuted. It's when we don't have that protection and then we're hurt because nobody was there to help us out or to take care of X, Y, and Z. So, I think having the guns will again give you that first line of defense. So we shouldn't be afraid of it. We should use it properly.
Hey Jen.
Why the sound distorted?
Oh Lord, we can't hear you still. Well, we can hear you, but you're a little distorted. I don't know what's going on.
She might have to log out and come back in.
Again?
Yeah, but come back in.
You might have to log out and come back in again.
Make sure you don't have another device on.
Do you have your phone or something on?
You sound like you on that commercial with that lady that had lung cancer, throat cancer, whatever she had.
So stupid.
I was that. Look at this picture from when I was 17 years old.
Shut up, JC. So dumb.
Yeah.
Oh, you might have to go out and come back in.
You might
have to go out and come back in.
So we just had a comment from Theodore Thomas, and he said, Jamal, can you put it back up right quick?
Shout out to Teddy Thomas, man.
He said, you need a piece to keep the peace.
Oh, that was good. That was good. That was good. I mean, the police got a piece, and they keep the peace.
They ain't keep.
So it makes sense.
Most
We
of
should.
them are keeping the. But are you keeping the peace with the peace? I think that's part of the problem.
No.
So here,
I think
my
you have
problem
people
is,
who are not responsible.
my problem is, are we using the gun to solve our problems, not necessarily keep the peace? Because that's the part of the gun violence part. We're not keeping no peace. We're just shooting
No.
people. That ain't for peace.
I
That's
think the
problem solving. That's trying to solve a problem. So now that I am licensed to carry, if somebody make me mad, am I gonna use that to solve my problem?
That ain't got well, it should not cause you to want to just go straight to your gun. We can talk like adults or whatnot. We should still be able to dissolve and diffuse situations as adults or whatever. It should not have to go straight to a gun. But
I think
you want to get crazy out here.
But what,
Go ahead.
JT?
Said, but you want to get crazy out here at 12 o'clock high noon. We can meet in the middle
you
of
ready. You
right
ready.
right there in front of the Capitol building.
I think one of the pieces is that it's not the guns, it's the policies about the guns that hasn't changed. And I think once the policies about the guns change, then you'll see less and less of this type of situation. Number one, just like today, I just renewed my license and my tag. And before I renewed it, I had to get checked. They had to make sure I was who I said I was. I lived where it said I lived. I had all the pieces in place so that I could be a card holding drive member. Without it, they wasn't going to give it to me. I had to get my vision checked. So if you didn't get your vision check all year, you're going to get your vision check when you get your license done. So I think those are the things that need to happen in terms of policies to say, hey, you can have a gun, you can own a gun, but with that comes responsibility. You need to come in and get a check. We need to know that it's working properly. We need to know that it's under your name, because they do the same thing with your car. I had to register my car so that they know it's my car. It belongs to me, nobody else. You're paying for it. You're taking care of it. I think the same policies should go into the gun policy. We don't want you to lose them. We just want you to be responsible with them.
And I agree with you, but I just mailed in my thing to renew my registration on my tag. You don't know that's me.
No, that was for your tag. Actually, they do, because it came from your address.
Okay, so
and you won't be paying. You wouldn't pay for nobody else's tag but your own.
But I'm saying that's not a guarantee. I could say I'm anybody.
No, for your license, you have to go in. For your tag, you don't have to go in.
To renew. So, Jennifer, you made it. You good? Talk to us.
Listen, I don't hear from the Lord often, but He told me I was going to have technical difficulties. Which meant I should not have been on this show. But anyway, I just renewed my license online. I didn't have to go in for the license either.
Oh, wow. Man, I wish I would have known that. That would have saved me 15 minutes.
Again, it could be anybody.
But you know what? No, let me ask you this question. When you did it online, you still had to go through and check off certain things, right?
Yeah, they do identification, like what's the last 5 of your social and that type of thing. So you still had to have pertinent information in order to be able to do it online.
Exactly. They're not just gonna let
person couldn't do it if they didn't know your personal information.
There it is, Lisa.
And identities don't get stolen around here anymore, right?
Listen, at least there's some type of procedure. Right now, for the
verify your
guns, there's
address.
no procedure.
They could not have sent my license to some unknown address. That would have been a safety check, because if I had logged on as somebody else, I'm Tom Smith and I'm living in Arizona, it's still going to come to my mailbox. So Tom would have just been out of gas on that one.
There it is. But see, regardless, there's a process. Somebody got to check.
I agree. There's a process. I agree.
Currently,
but you acting like the world don't move around processes sometimes.
They do, and that's why we have to update the process. That's exactly what I'm saying. Okay. We have to update the process. When things, as we progress, as we make changes, as things change, we should also make changes with that as well. So there is no system that has been put in place since the Wild Wild West. True. You know, so we need to put some systems in place to say, okay, you know what, you can have it, but there's certain things that needs to happen because you own it.
So
I thought they did change things, though.
What you say, JT?
I said I thought they did change a lot of things, though. I mean, wasn't it possible that
we lost JT.
We lost JT.
So I think what he was saying, I thought was going in towards there has been changes, and he's right. There has. I was just being facetious. There has been changes in terms of you can't have your gun out in a public place. You have to have your gun.
They're open carry. They're open carry states, though.
Yeah, but it still needs to be concealed. It can't be. You have to have it
in a holster.
In a holster, exactly. If it's a pistol. So there has been some changes, but there's still room for more, especially with the mental health issues we have in this country. Nobody, if you got some mental problems, you should not be carrying a gun.
There's plenty of people with mental issues carrying guns.
So then
wearing uniforms.
But you gotta understand, they only look at their mental issues when they're, what's the word I'm looking for? When they're when they're
afraid, they're afraid for their life.
It's this certain color, pale, tan,
JT of man.
White. Yeah. Did I say that? We can't say that, huh? So that's the only time, but that's the only time they have mental issues when Dylan Roof can go in and shoot up a church. Then they want to say he has mental issues because he shot up a church full of black people. But a black man goes in and shoot up a church. Oh, it was nothing wrong with him. He have no mental issues. But a black person is not going to do that anyway. But a black person does something like that. Oh, well, we just going to give him the electric chair or whatever we got to do to get him off the street. But if somebody else of a certain hue, if I might say, if they do something like that, then we want to look and see if they had any mental issues going on. But yeah, go ahead. That's just me. I'm just talking. Don't mind.
Let's get you in on this. So this is one of my friend guys. Well, y'all know Jennifer, but this is one of my friends that took was it gun licensing? Was it a licensing class? And is preparing to purchase. So tell us about your experience and tell us why you wanted to do it.
Okay, well, I took the class first and foremost because that's mandatory if you're going to be carrying a gun around on your person or in your vehicle. If you were just, having it in your house, it's not mandatory. But if you're going to be carrying it, then you have to take this class. And so the class was beneficial because it de-glamorized the circumstances by which you can use the gun. So, for me, I needed that because I just thought, okay, you show up at my house, I'm gonna stop popping some caps. But I learned that there, even when you have the permit, there are certain restrictions. Like, I can't shoot you if you're breaking into my car. I can't shoot you over any kind of property. And I asked the question in the class. I said, okay, so what if the person is on my porch and has broken out a glass in my door to reach their hand in and unlock the door? Can I shoot them then? And the answer was no. I have to wait until you were fully in the house.
Wow.
Before I start. Yeah. So I needed to know that because yeah. But anyway, so the class is just the first part of gun training. It's not detailed enough to teach you how to handle the gun, how to disassemble the gun. So that's further education that you have to take upon yourself. And why did I want a gun? Again, just protection. Both of my girls are, trained in shooting and have permits and stuff. And so, God forbid that I would ever get in a situation where I would have to use it. That's not anything that I want to strive towards, but I wanted to go ahead and educate myself ahead of time so that if it's a panic situation, I'm not, befumbled with, what to do or how to use it and things of that nature. And that has transitioned and helped me in my search for purchasing a gun. I've learned what safety features I need to have for me personally. Like, I'm not going to buy a weapon that does not have a safety on it. But you can buy cheaper guns that don't have them on there. But I'd rather pay more money and protect myself and someone else than to go the quick route and go and get a gun for $250 and there are no, safety measurements on it. Also, being a woman, my hands are smaller, so the guns that I thought I wanted, the 9mm, the Clint Eastwoods,
The dirty hairs.
what?
Dirty Harry.
Had
that
this
Colt
whole
45.
gimmick of the shooting sideways. Pow. Yeah. Once you get educated, all of that stuff goes out of the window because one, you got to worry about the weight of the gun. You got to worry about the barrel of the gun. You got to worry about the recoil or the kickback, the grip, all of those things. So I'm doing thorough research on that, and I think I've narrowed it down to what I want.
So what do you want?
I think I'm going to go with the
Glock 9.
No, the Sawyer. Actually, I thought I was gonna get a 9mm, but I'm gonna go with the 380.
380. 380 is a good gun.
Yeah, the 386 Sawyer P238 is what I'm gonna go with. But now here's the catch. So many people are buying guns now that the manufacturers can't keep up with the production.
Can't keep up. Yeah.
So now that I know what gun I'm gonna get, I can't find the gun anywhere because it's out of stock everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's just all the stuff that goes into it. So I still now have to go to a range. I have to be trained. I have to learn how to disassemble it, keep it clean, all of that kind of stuff. So this it's a step. It's a progress.
It ain't scary.
No.
Like I don't. So
Can I say something?
Prince and JT, do y'all own guns?
I used to have a gun, but I'm working probably towards to getting another one, especially in the climate that we're in. So I let that gun go, but I'm thinking of going back.
JT?
I have recently became a gun owner myself. Yes. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but we talking about the big boys.
Oh.
We coming. We talking about the big boy right here.
We
Hold on.
can't see it.
Wait. Fresh in the box. We
Oh
got the
wow.
AR-15. We got the AR-15 right here.
Yeah.
Never. We still haven't shot it yet. But yeah. I am a gun owner.
And so
You come stepping off that.
you need that for what?
We're gonna be hunting rabbits. We're gonna
So
be hunting rabbits.
So is that a hunting gun or is that just a regular keeping my house gun?
It's a keep a nigga out my house. Let's go hunting. Let's go look at these white sheets out here. If they need to be put in check, don't come stepping up in my gun. That's what that is.
So
I ain't no
they're
fool.
different.
I'm not a fool though.
They're-
I'm not out here just walking around waving a gun saying, "Hey, look at me, look at me." I'm not the type of person that just goes out looking for trouble anyways, but sometimes the person that is looking for trouble is not as dangerous as the person expecting trouble.
So, Jen said something that was important in terms of continuous education. Jen, I have a question for you before I continue is, did you do your session online?
No, I did
So
not.
you had to be there in person. Okay,
I
so
think now they may offer it online because of COVID, but I was
Yeah.
in an actual classroom setting because before we could finish the course, we had to actually shoot a gun.
yes,
Like the
yes.
final exam part. So yeah, that was
I think that's the biggest piece, that it's continuous education. There are a lot of people who own guns who never pull them out. They never use them. They don't go to the range.
Yeah.
They don't practice. And then when that situation happens, they're not fully prepared to do anything. So it's important that like I said, with that purchase comes responsibility. So JT, great weapon. But with that purchase comes responsibility. How to use it, how to clean it, how to protect it, taking it to the range, making sure that you're comfortable with it. Jen said something important. You want to have the right pistol for your hand. So it's, to me, again, education and practice.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a comment here from Alani. It says anyone can spray and pray, but this switching to pistols is quicker than reloading.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's pretty much talking about the pistol versus the automatic rifle that JT has.
And see, that's what I guess that's my question, JT. Like you keep that at your home. Are you riding around with it in your car? I mean, can you do that?
I'm not driving around with this.
I don't get it. I don't get that type of weapon
it's not a my buddy.
for protection. I see a weapon like that maybe for hunting, but just for protection. Are you you riding around with that in your car?
No, I'm not riding around it in my car with it in my car yet.
See?
Oh God.
And this is why when I think about the guns and gun violence and the sales and people using guns as their problem solvers, my mind also goes to Trayvon Martin. So Zimmerman used the gun to solve his problem. He wasn't protecting himself or anything like that. It was his problem solver. This boy probably was beating him up because he tried to detain him or whatever, but we won't never know the real story. But in my opinion, he used the gun to solve his problem, not as protection.
I think
so that's why I'm saying the mentality of the people, how can you judge that from sitting in a class getting a license, or how can you judge that from them practicing on the range, that they're going to actually use this gun to solve their problems, which is where the gun violence is. They're using the guns to solve their problem, not protection.
Well, just like with anything else, you have common sense. You're supposed to have it. Like, my intent would not to be strolling around the neighborhood trying to be Barney Fife and figure out who I can intimidate. And that's what Zimmerman was. He wanted to be, the big guy, But with anything, common sense and prayer, knowledge, and what's your point of intent? You can't govern a person's intent. Some people just don't think logically. I don't understand with the police. Why do you always have to shoot to kill? Why can't you just disable if you feel like you're being threatened? It's always to take you out. So I don't understand that logic. But then you're talking about these are law enforcement officers.
True.
So again, are they using common sense, or is it I'm bigger and better than you? So I mean, that's you can't control that.
Well,
I think again you can control it. Go ahead, JT.
Well, I mean, it's probably different when you're told to or trained to kill black people, and told to diffuse the situation with people of another hue, if I had to say. I've seen so many videos. I saw a video that went viral on Facebook where there was a white guy. The cop was sitting there like, "Sir, put down the hatchet, put down the knife, put down the axe," and the guy came after him, but there was no weapon drawn. He was allowed to chase after this officer, and the officer tried to defuse the situation. Now, we know what would have happened.
Oh man!
If that man's skin color looked like ours, he would have been dead from the beginning.
Right.
So Jamal just posted a question too. Where can you find the gun license class? Like, how did you know about it?
There are different places around town that offer those classes. I did mine through North Florida Security, which is on Bluntstown Road. But also, like when the gun shows come in to town, they have on-site classes that you can take as well.
Okay.
Again, to go back, and I think I keep harping on this because it's important. It's important that we know that mental health is a big part of that. Common sense is a big part of that. So you need to be checking these folks as they're getting their weapons. And I'm not just talking about civilians. I'm also talking about police officers, security, even military. You want to make sure that these people have the mental state to be able to carry such a dangerous tool. Again, should you have it? I think you should. But with that piece comes responsibility.
I agree with you on the responsibility, but what's the test for common sense?
No.
I mean, I think there's a test for mental health where you say, okay, you're having some issues, you're having some problems. We need to take this gun away from you until we know that you can conduct yourself appropriately. That's going to be the biggest piece. Who's going to be that person to make sure that these people have it? Again, systems. So I think that will be the biggest game changer for where we are right now in terms of gun safety and gun security.
So interesting. Yes, I think you can test I know there's a test that you can do to assess someone's mental health, assess their biases, assess their prejudices. I can tell you, if you give me a scenario, I can tell you what I think I would do, but I don't know what I would really do until I'm in that situation. So if I'm calm and collected and answering questions, sure, I could probably give you a right answer. But who knows what I am going to do when I'm face to face with that life or death situation?
So the
How do you gauge that?
the police department actually has this new, well, I'm not saying police, there is a new technical device that the police department has been using in terms of what happens during a certain scenario. If this person comes, what would you do? And they have these I want to call it mock situations where they have fake guns, and then this happens and then you have to react. And they've been putting the public to that test to see what they would do. I think that would also help. Again, going with the training, when this happens, what do you do?
That's part of preparedness. If you,
exactly.
saying says, stay ready so that you don't have to get ready. You don't have to take the class, take the training, have, a personal instructor that will work with you so that you know what to do in certain situations and be more familiar with what to do, as opposed to just off the grip, this happens and you've not been instructed or taught or trained on how to react. So that, I think that's another reason why the education part of it is instrumental.
And the other piece too, we can't be afraid of it. I know Charlemagne on their radio show, he's been sharing this with a lot of the young folks to go ahead and get licensed, get your pistol, get your gun, protect yourself, but do it wisely, do it smart. Make sure you're following the guidelines because it's your right. And I think what we do sometimes is we're afraid because something happened. We saw this person get hurt. So imagine if Trayvon Martin had his pistol on him. What would the scenario be then? It might be a little bit different. I'm just saying.
But would a 15, 16-year-old child have a pistol?
But I'm just, when you start talking about people going for training in these indoor ranges and stuff, there are family plans where these people are taking their children in there to learn how to shoot.
Yes.
That's something that we as African Americans probably don't do as much as some other people. But they're training these kids at an early age how to shoot these weapons. So it's not like it's not an option for the kids to get training on how to use the weapons. Now, I don't know what the laws are about purchasing or whatever, but we know in our society, young people can acquire a gun whether or not they're supposed to have it or not.
I think it gives them and desensitizes them to it, so they know how to use that pistol, that rifle. They know how to go to hunt, and I think those are skill sets that kids should learn, so that you're not afraid when these situations pop up. Like Jen said, I'd rather be ready than get ready.
So I get the whole training piece, and supposedly our law enforcement has been trained, but they all pop up with this, I was afraid for my life, and it's a whole nother story.
Well, so that's symptomatic of racism, though.
I get it.
I know if I say this, I can get away with killing this black person.
Yeah.
You're not afraid of all this stuff. And if you're that scary, you don't need to be a police officer.
I've been saying that.
You on the force.
Right. That's what I think. Why are you
dogging and stuff is scaring y'all. You don't need to be on nobody's force.
Yeah. If you that scared. But I think my big question that's in my mind is, I really feel like we're going back to the Wild Wild West.
No, the Wild Wild West was wild.
And we not.
West was wild compared to
we not wild.
Compared to what it was to now, we're not. Now, do we have situations where people get out of control and lose their responsibility? I agree, we do. I mean, it's the same thing with the car. How many accidents do we have daily because somebody wasn't, being responsible? You're doing 20 things instead of focusing on the road. you driving too fast, or you driving too slow, or you trying to cut people off, that is a weapon. Your car is literally a weapon. And if you're not using it responsible, you can hurt somebody, including yourself.
I agree.
And it's the same thing.
But
it's
a
not
gun
powerful.
is a definite weapon that if you shoot somebody in the right place, you will kill them, period. In a car accident, you might survive that. But in a gunfight,
I think Lisa, you might be afraid of guns. Is that the case?
I don't know whether I am or not. I haven't been around them, but I'm not in a place where I would think I would want one. I wouldn't want one. I'm not gonna say I don't see the need. Well, I don't, kind of. But I get it. I get it in some respects. I do get it in some respects. In the fact that some of the logic of it to me is, as Black people, sometimes when we're in situations, we don't feel comfortable calling the police because we know what might happen. And so in that respect, maybe you want to have something to be able to protect yourself. I get that, especially when they can come into your house and kill you while you sleep in your bed. I get some of the logic of it. I think what scares me is, like I was saying before, is will we start using it to solve our problems?
It's not
and just start shooting people up. You know, you piss me off, I'm just gonna shoot you. Some years ago, there was an incident with a kindergartner, and he found his parents' gun or whoever's gun, and he had a bully, and so he went and he shot the bully. Well, somewhere along the line, he learned that that's how he solved his problems. Y'all see, maybe I'm thinking too much about it. I don't know, but that's where I'm trying not to get. JT, you want to say something?
I understand what you're saying as far as you're not wanting to have a gun, but listen to me. There are too many Black women being pulled into vans. There are too many Black women being abducted and killed and everything else. And I'm sorry not to say this, I'm not racist or anything, but I'm not seeing a bunch of pictures of other women being posted saying this person is missing. I would advise you. I understand what you're saying, but I would advise you to get a gun. Not that you need it, or not that you got to get some big gun, but man, you got to protect yourself.
I would say this, JP. It's not just a gun. You could use a taser. There's other weapons that you can have. I think it's more or less making sure that you have something that you can use to protect yourself, even if it's just a self-defense class. You know, what are you going to do when those situations arise? That's all that what this really is about. Will they have people out there who don't, respect the law and do the wrong thing? Yes, Lisa. That's going to be it. We just have to come to grips with that. But if the majority of people can follow the rules and kind of, do the right thing, again, we have policies in place to ensure that the right people have, I wouldn't even say the right people, the people who are responsible have the ability to carry guns, just like we have the people who are responsible have the ability to drive cars, then it works.
But do you, so shout out to my mommy who's watching. Hey, mommy.
Another short lady.
JT.
Lisa,
hey,
as a woman, I'm not going to solely depend on a gun.
Hold on, Jen, speak up a little bit. We can't hear you.
I said, as a woman, I'm not going to solely depend on a gun. The gun for me is for specific situations. If I'm going to the grocery store, I don't just need to take a gun. But you better believe I got some on my key ring if you try me, or I got something in my car if you try me. So it's not all about guns. It's, use what works best for you. But whatever you have, make sure you have the knowledge behind how to use it. And
Yeah.
like Franz was saying, you got different kinds of mace. You got spray mace, gel mace, you got tasers, a myriad of things that you can use. But it's again, what is your intent? I don't want to just be walking around strapped all the time. But if I'm somewhere in an unfamiliar neighborhood, if I'm out somewhere late at night, or if I feel uneasy, at least I have taken the precautions to be able to have that weapon on me. And let me interject this too as well. When you start talking about carrying a gun, one of the important things that I learned in the class was you can also have insurance for
Mhm.
carrying weapons, because different states have different laws. So even though you have your permit to carry, once you cross state lines, you don't know what their guidelines are. So
That's
I
it.
know that that's something else that I'm going to look into, because if I'm back and forth between Georgia all the time. So if I have to carry a gun and Georgia's laws are different, if I have this insurance, uh, legal advice, or somebody that works on your behalf, that's what the purpose of it is. They
Right.
can work on your behalf in terms of, helping you identify which states to stay away from. If you tell them in advance you're traveling to Colorado, they have advisors that can tell you, okay, these are the states that you might have problems in. These are the states
And
that don't have any laws at all, those type of things.
that
Again, so it's education and preparedness.
that to me is going back to the policies in terms of why is it that every state has its own different piece when this is the United States. um, you know, uh, I can go from state to state as long as they know that you are the registered owner of that instrument. Same thing with a car. You could go from state to state, but they know that you're from Florida because you got Florida tags. So it should be the same thing with the pill or with anything else, that they know, who owns it, so that if there is a problem, if you do have to discharge your pistol or your instrument, they'll know, okay, this is who that belongs to. This is the reason why I had to discharge it. This is what went down. So, again, it's common. It's not always common.
It's not. Common sense is not always common. So I have this question, Jennifer, because you took the class, and then guys, if y'all know about it, is there, or did they even discuss the psychological ramifications that if you do encounter somebody and you kill them, even in self-defense, what happens to you when you take a life? Did
Yeah,
they address that?
they did address
We
it, and
going to
again,
jail.
that's a case by case situation. And again, just like I was saying earlier, just because I have the permit and I took the class does not mean that I can just randomly shoot somebody because they're messing with my property. So all of those things go into play when you're talking about discharging the weapon. Um, and they covered different scenarios. I can't remember them all now, but it was a very intense 3 to 4 hour class. So it's just not like, see a picture of a gun. This is the trigger. This is how you put the bullets in. It was very thorough in terms of the laws, the requirements, when you can use, when you can't use. It went into great detail
Mm.
about the having the permit.
I like it. Again, I think safety and processes is what we need more than anything else. Just like we're talking about police reform and all of that other stuff, it should be down the line. Whether you're a civilian or a police officer.
But let me tell you what's really gonna happen if you disarm that gun. You going to jail.
Yeah. We'll stand your ground, work for you, like it did George Zimmerman.
No, it does not. Stand your ground is like bleach. It ruins colors, but it works well for white.
Oh my God.
Oh Lord! The process of understanding why you have it, why it's important, and then having the backup. Like Jen said, you have to have the insurance in place, and then knowing that you have a lawyer in place just for those situations. Hopefully you don't have to get there, but if it comes up, you know what to do. You
And
got
again,
somebody there to
it's
protect
stay
you.
prepared, so you don't have to get prepared.
Y'all think people?
That's correct.
Y'all think people
So who's the lawyer you call once things go down?
Hold on, JT, what you say?
Y'all think people gonna be mad at me for keeping it real? I'm just wondering.
Why would
Never that. Keep it real.
It's kitchen talk.
JT,
It's what we do. It's what we do.
JT, I thought you were talking about these other guns that you've been working on, these 100 push-ups.
Oh Lord. So,
listen, man,
that's
it's the rest of the day. I can do it.
Them guns I'm gonna work on. Them the guns I'm gonna work on. So Michael, Joy, can you put that one back up, Jamal? That comment. So Joy says, go and take the class and get your gun, Lisa Lorraine. And no, I can't. I'm not. I don't want a gun. I don't want a gun.
Okay. Okay.
I don't want a gun.
Hey, I think that
Michael, do you have a gun?
It's okay. I think it's okay to not want it.
I plead the fifth. Huh?
So, Ms. Stevenson,
the license.
says,
how long does the license?
How long does the gun license class take?
A few hours.
Jen, how long was your class?
It was about 3.5 hours. It depends on how many people are asking questions, or how in depth they get into asking various questions. But the minimum time was about 3.5 hours.
And it's just a one day class, one time.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They typically, where I went, they typically offer it once a month, and there are 2 classes. There's one in the daytime, and then there's an evening class. But like I said, different instructors may take different amounts of time. Mine was scheduled for 4 hours, but we got it out in about 3.5.
Oh, okay. Michael, do you have a gun? So Ms. Stevenson says, "Oh, that's not bad at all." So yeah, I don't know, y'all.
But the thing is that it's not just that one-time class. It's not just that one-time class. It's a continuous education. We were talking about the gangster shooting to the side, like Jen was talking about earlier. That's not how you hold your pistol. That's not what you do.
No,
that doesn't work.
Was part of the fantasy.
That
was part of the fantasy.
What you see on TV is not what you do. Even loading the bullet is not as easy as some people think. It's not that easy. So I think again, it's continuous education. You get to keep the process.
Yeah, Michael says, and they take you to go practice shooting. Michael still ain't answering me whether she got a gun or not.
Well, everybody.
That tells she just told you.
Right.
She just told you. They take you to
Oh,
go
she
practice.
just said, yes, I do.
Yeah, she already just told you. They take her to go to practice. You got to practice.
But
Several of my family
even after
members,
having
they
taken
go
the
to the ring.
class,
Hold on, friends. Jen, say that again.
I said, even after having taken the class, we used a revolver in the class. We did not use a pistol. And so the next time I had experience with using a pistol, I was not cocking the gun correctly. So that was not until I had the one-on-one conversation with the guy in the gun shop that showed me the proper way. Man, that thing was sweet. So it was, yeah. So now that I know how to properly do it, yeah.
That's correct.
Oh, Lord. She gonna turn into more gangster.
No, she's not turning into more gangster. She's turning into more responsible. She's turning into she's prepared for if something go down.
There were several people buying guns or whatever, and I had been working with this one guy for about an hour, and so I don't know why I was singled out, but this black man walked up. And you just announced to the store, black woman with a gun, somebody finna be in trouble. I was like, dude, why you gotta put me out there like that? I'm just trying to learn, how to use the gun. Don't be intimidated because I'm back here, cow. I'm just ready.
Well, good. That's the other thing. I think people don't be afraid of being the intimidating factor. If that's you, be that is me. Yes, that's me. I'm the intimidating factor.
Michael said, yes, I like it, Miss Jen.
Yes.
See what I'm talking about? Y'all done gone to problem solving already. That ain't protection, that's problem solving.
No,
look at that. No.
That don't,
it's not problem solving.
That I'm finna pop a cap in you, but it lets you know that I'm capable of doing it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is.
If you get out of line,
figure out how you want to proceed.
That is.
If
you don't want nothing, don't start nothing. That's all it is, Lisa.
That's problem solving. I'm sorry.
Don't solve nothing.
Look,
don't start nothing if you don't want
nothing. We are over our hour.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, for joining us. Mwah! Yay!
Jennifer.
All right, guys.
You got to come back sometime.
Yes, that was good.
And thank you for being in your kitchen. Yay! Kitchen Talk. Kitchen Talk CTC.
Conversation that good.
Yes. All right, guys, we're going to see y'all next week. We will be right back here next Thursday in our kitchens, Kitchen Talk Live, 9 o'clock. If you are watching us on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button so we can build up our following. Hit the subscribe button. If you're watching us on Facebook, hit the like. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Kitchen Talk CTC, on all of our social media platforms. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us, for commenting, for joining the conversation. We appreciate you all so, so, so much. All right, tell a friend, tell a neighbor, share, all of that. Sharing, what do you say?
Adios.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. So we'll see you guys next week. Bye. Kitchen Talk. Bye.